Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the latest in our Pain Point series webinars. My name is Claudio Pillay, Senior Content Manager for NetBrain, joined by my colleague Nazanin Younessi, NetBrain Demo Engineer. Today's webinar is about unleashing full visibility into your hybrid cloud network. As is typical of our webinars, after our presentation, we'll open it up to Q&A. So if at any point during the presentation you have any questions, please do enter them in the chat window and we'll do our best to answer them. This webinar is also being recorded, so you can rewatch anytime from our website. Before diving in, let's talk a little bit about NetBrain. Founded in 2004, NetBrain is the most widely adopted network automation and visibility platform today. More than 2,500 of the world's largest enterprises and managed service providers use NetBrain to simplify network management tasks, reduce MTTR, and provide a top-down understanding of how the network supporting their business works. Why NetBrain? NetBrain's automation is intent-based and 100% no-code, meaning network teams adopting NetBrain don't have to invest time and resources developing software or scripts. If you understand your network design and know how to manage it via CLI, you know how to automate using NetBrain. Whereas typical code-based automation consists of device-level scripts, NetBrain automation is built on a network-level understanding of your infrastructure. Network intents digitize how your network should behave. And the abstractions facilitated by network intents make it easy to scale your network operations. One intent can be replicated across your entire network or any subset of the network you require. None of which would be possible without NetBrain's vendor-agnostic, holistic view of the network. Our digital twin and dynamic maps are built from live forwarding data of your network, whether that be traditional, virtual, software-defined, or even cloud. This webinar is part of our ongoing Pain Point series, where each month we explore a common pain point in network operations and see how NetBrain enhances workflows that address them. Earlier this year, we've covered network security and automated diagnosis. Last month's webinar on network change management is available on demand from our website, so if you missed it, we encourage you to check it out. We show you how NetBrain allows you to make changes on your network without fear of human errors and unintended consequences. Also be on the lookout for our webinar on preventing outages next month, and be sure to register. Today's webinar is all about hybrid network visualization. NetBrain is the leader in network visibility, whether that be traditional networks, software-defined networks, virtual, on-prem, or cloud. NetBrain can discover your entire hybrid network and present it on a single screen. Now, why is that important? Simply put, networks are getting larger and more complex. In a 2022 survey by Enterprise Management Associates, over 80% of enterprises were responsible for network infrastructure consisting of at least 250 network devices. Nearly 20% of those enterprises managed over 1,000 devices. And enterprises are embracing newer, less traditional network technologies that older monitoring tools may not support, like virtual, software-defined, and especially cloud. In fact, Gartner estimates that by 2024, 60% of mid-sized enterprises will have deployed some form of hybrid cloud infrastructure. That's up from only 15% in 2021. And with modern performance expectations, network management solutions have to go beyond simple visibility of cloud network infrastructure. EMA discovered that nearly 78% of enterprises insist that any network automation solution must extend into the public cloud and into the edge cloud. IT organizations need full access and insight into their entire network end-to-end and expect investment in management solutions to provide that. So what are the main challenges to hybrid network operations? The first is observability. To many businesses, due to the lack of cloud network visibility, the cloud is a black box. Most enterprises can't or don't know every network component they have in the cloud. One NetBrain client, when asked how they used to account for the amount of infrastructure they had in the cloud, simply stated, "We waited for the bill." And with the way cloud dynamically scales, the use of resources grows, many times without even knowing, making proper documentation always feel out of reach. Troubleshooting is another challenge. Cloud, virtual, software-defined networks are surprisingly different disciplines compared to traditional networking, many times requiring new breeds of specialists to manage and maintain. Often, these new teams are placed outside the network operations umbrella. And so, troubleshooting a network problem may require cross-functional cooperation amongst teams and departments that are not used to working together. Lastly, tracking and ensuring network performance is more complicated with hybrid networks. Application traffic must traverse multiple technological domains as it crosses between legacy, virtual, SDN, and cloud infrastructure. But application performance expectations aren't any more relaxed. But efforts to meet those expectations are hampered when the tools we have cannot manage the network end-to-end, especially so for automation. Operating multiple tools with the same function for different domains only adds extra burden on IT teams. Thankfully, a solution exists. NetBrain NextGen demystifies the black boxes of SDN and cloud with full hybrid network visibility. NetBrain's market-leading visualization platform is built on the foundation of auto-discovery, dynamic mapping, and the digital twin of your network. Technology only from NetBrain that incorporates your virtual, software-defined, and cloud infrastructure just the same as it does your traditional network. For cloud, you see components like VPN gateways, EC2 instances, and VPCs right on your topology map, complete with all the interconnections and links to your on-prem sites, including ExpressRoute, Direct Connect, or site-to-site VPNs. Today, AWS, Azure, and GCP account for 70% of the market share, and NetBrain integrates with all of them. That means enterprises can take advantage of cloud diversity and still rely on NetBrain to efficiently manage and map their multi-cloud network from one place. Additionally, NetBrain consolidates all data gathered through third-party tools, like Datadog, Thousand Eyes, or Splunk, in one place, amplifying the value of your existing ecosystem with real-time operational data from multiple sources right on your dynamic map for a true single pane of glass. And that gets us to the second challenge of hybrid networks, troubleshooting. The poor documentation due to the lack of visibility leads to information and skills silos. Each specialist or specialized team only has one part of the total picture in the life of a packet, making troubleshooting a painful and slow process as minutes or hours are wasted gathering the right cross-functional team while an outage rages away. Here's where intent-based automation saves the day. NetBrain's network intents are like atomic units of automation that capture the specific behaviors and business outcomes you want from your network. For example, suppose you had multiple yet unequal uplinks for remote site redundancy. Typically, your business prefers traffic to flow through the possibly faster or maybe the least costly link, with the other uplink acting solely as a backup. Intents lets you document that preference and check for the actual traffic next hop to ensure compliance. Intent-based automation allows you to continuously monitor for the state and performance you desire and then notifies you, whether that be by email or by opening or updating a service ticket with your preferred ITSM. Intents could even trigger other intent automations for further investigation into why the network is no longer behaving as intended. The best part? This involves no scripting or coding. If your network engineers know CLI, they know how to automate with NetBrain. NetBrain NextGen is 100% no code. With that sort of documentation and automation, any support staff can troubleshoot any issue, even if it involves skills outside the scope of their role, making information silos a thing of the past. And when engineers do have to escalate to or collaborate with engineers of other disciplines, like routing, security, application, or cloud, NetBrain's incident portal makes it easy to work together and share information, troubleshooting steps, and diagnosis results. One portal, one map for multiple teams to work together. All actions are documented, so messy handoffs and escalations are avoided. And because NetBrain captured the diagnostics and troubleshooting intents of your best engineers shared across the entire organization, you'll always have expert knowledge available, even when your subject matter experts themselves aren't available. Finally, performance. NetBrain's dynamic maps are real-time end-to-end traffic paths. Routing and policy information from the digital twin is consulted to provide the actual paths traffic takes, regardless of whether the endpoints begin or end on-prem or in the cloud. NetBrain can even visualize a path when it traverses multiple clouds. And with the added context of network intents, support teams can quickly identify and remedy any path-affecting misconfigurations like ACLs, firewall policies, or degraded or erroneous states in the forwarding tables. We know NetBrain NextGen can do this with well-known CLI commands to automate diagnosis of traditional networking devices. But what about SDN and cloud? NetBrain's deep API integrations allow you to include API commands and payloads directly within network intents to automate diagnosis and prevent outages within your SDN and cloud infrastructure. End-to-end network automation without limits or borders. How about we see it in action? My colleague Nazanin will demonstrate NetBrain's ability to map and visualize cloud network components as well as it does on-prem, cloud gateways and routers, and even virtual machines. Ensure network intent end-to-end with no-code automation. And alert and notify when issues are detected via email or ITSM tickets. Nazanin, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Claudio. And why is cloud visibility so important? I can think of numerous reasons why, but I'm just going to run through a quick scenario for demonstration purposes. So we have an organization who has migrated its critical applications and infrastructure to the cloud. Without proper visibility, the IT team may not have a clear understanding on how their cloud resources are performing and interacting with each other. So what does that mean for this organization? Well, one day the customer's facing application starts experiencing slow response times and intermittent outages. Without cloud visibility, the IT team would struggle to identify the root cause. Is it due to network connectivity, a performance bottleneck within the cloud, or an issue with specific application components? So if we're looking at my screen, you'll be able to see how NetBrain is able to map the cloud in correspondence to your existing network. So on the right here, you can see under the on-prem, you can see a Fortinet device and some type of end host as the source, going out through the VPN to a cloud VM here. Looks to be in the west. Now, what functionality do I have with this? Now that I've discovered my cloud environment, I can clearly see how it's connected to my on-premise environment. How can I take it a step further? How can I troubleshoot? Well, like I mentioned in my little story, we're looking for things to check for whether or not it's a network connectivity issue, a performance bottleneck within the cloud, or an issue with a specific application component. So you can see on the left pane here, I have several network intents here, kind of looking for those things. So we have a configuration compliance check, we have a metrics monitoring check, and we also have a security compliance check. And I do want to also mention this network BGP session intent as well. So you can also check for specific things for specific scenarios. I'm just going to go into these and kind of show you what they look like. If I open this configuration compliance check, you can see you're looking for things like BGP status, VNet peering state, checking for hardware profiles, load balancing rules, provisioning states, and all those kinds of things. The monitoring metrics might look for a little bit different. It's looking for network rule hits. It's looking for firewall health, CPU utilization. And the sky's the limit with what you want to do with these, but these are really great tools to kind of help you and assist with the troubleshooting process. Now, how is NetBrain able to achieve all of this? Well, let's take a look back into the configuration compliance one. And I'm going to go into here. I'm going to just edit it first. And I'm going to go ahead and continue. And if I go into here and you see the core VM, I'm able to hit edit diagnosis. Now, if I go into this, you're able to see that on the left of retrieve live data, there is an edit button. Now, NetBrain is actually using API queries that you're able to put in to these network intents to pull live information from your devices on the cloud. So as you can see here, we've set parameters or things that we're looking for those cloud devices. And then if I hit retrieve live data, it'll actually pull that information for me from the cloud. Now, from that information, I'm able to parse and get what I'm looking for each step of my troubleshooting. So again, this is a great example here. This is just for a core VM. And then these are this is the intent for that. So what does this look like? And how does it work? How do I apply these network intents to overlay kind of on the map? How do I find the output? Well, it's pretty simple. So if I go back to this original version of the map that I had, you can see on the top left, we have data view, runbook, intent. So I'm going to go ahead and hit intent here. And if I go into auto intent, you can see a list of, first and foremost, all of the network intents that are applicable to this map. So based on the devices on this map, NetBrain is able to compile a list of applicable network intents that work for this specific map. So as you can see here, we have our security compliance one that I spoke about before, the configuration compliance one that we dived into. But for this case, I'm going to go ahead and use the hybrid network BGP session intent. I want to show this one because like it mentioned, it is hybrid, so it's multi-vendor. So this will not only run on the cloud devices, but it'll also run on the Fortinet firewall as well. And what better way to show our hybrid visibility than to show this intent running? So I'm going to go ahead and create this intent, basically making it run against this map itself. And I'll give that a few seconds just to load here. And now that it's loaded, I'm able to hit run. And this is a good option. So this is saying this intent has an email logic. Do you want to send email after the intent execution? So you know that there is the option to have these emails sent to you as well. Those emails can also generate tickets. So if you want to have some type of network intents running in the background, looking for these things, and then notifying you, you have that option as well. So here we're just going to wait for it to run before I overlay the information directly on the map and show you what that looks like. And now that it's done running, I'm going to go ahead and view the context on the map. And for demonstration purposes, we'll go through the story again. The customer, you have a company's customer-facing application is having some issues. You're going in, doing some troubleshooting steps. You run this intent. And as you can see here, there's clearly an issue with BGP. On the Fortinet device, BGP setup was not completed. So you can see that on this gateway that BGP peer was not connected. So this is a clear demonstration of how we're able to use cloud visibility and assist with troubleshooting. But that's all I have to show here today. I'll pass it back on to you, Claudio. Thank you.
Thanks, Nazanin. I think that was a great display of NetBrain's ability to cross domains between cloud and on-prem seamlessly through the use of our network intent technology. Before we get to the Q&A, we want to thank you once again for joining us, and also wanted to share this scannable QR code that will direct you to our website where you can schedule your own demo or check out our new guided tours at your own pace. And with that, let's get to the Q&A. Let's give it a few seconds for some questions to come in. Okay, we have one question. You mentioned Fortinet firewalls. Are you able to write your own intent checks against the L7 policy objects, like URLs, user IDs, app IDs, that can be part of the Fortinet rule base? Do you understand these policy objects? Naz, what do you think?
At the moment, I wouldn't say you're able to create intents to run for that information, but you would be able to run intents and kind of parse for that information.
So we can check against the policy objects?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another one. For SDN, does NetBrain support Cisco ACI specifically? And can it distinguish between the underlay and the overlay fabric?
In regards to SDN, NetBrain definitely supports, but is not limited to Cisco's ACI. We have an extensive vendor list, including ESXi and NSXP. As per distinguishing the difference between overlay and underlay fabrics, NetBrain can give you the visibility under the network feature on the platform, so you could see VXLANs and endpoints groups, etc.
Great. Here's a good question. When will cloud intent become available? We are at 10.1.7.13 at the moment.
So what we just demonstrated in the webinar is an example of a cloud intent. So now with the new intents, how we have it set up in 11.1, you're able to actually input API queries to basically pull information from the cloud and utilizing that within the network intent.
And how can they update to 11.1?
So there, if you currently meet all the prerequisites needed, you should be able to update through the update feature within the platform. If not, we do have support to assist you through the upgrading process.
Is that an extra license that you have to purchase or any cost to update to the latest 11.1?
To update, no, but in terms of for cloud visibility, the cloud is an additional license.
Good to know. Another question, when parsing through the cloud data in the intent, is NetBrain able to modify any of the values?
No, NetBrain only retrieves live information to analyze it as per the queries in the API call. It doesn't make any modifications, and this is for security purposes.
Okay, so I think that was the last question. Maybe we can give it a few more seconds in case anybody has. Well, I think that's it. So thank you, everyone. And if you're looking forward to our next webinar, be sure to join us next month. And until then, thank you and goodbye.